from Sandra Bullock to Kelsey Grammer, even former Vice President Al Gore. It seems like many high-profile marriages have reached the end of the line, but none are being watched more closely than Tiger Woods and his wife, Elin. NBC Lee Cowan has the story.
Some celebrity relationships come and go in a flash. The ink was barely dry on headlines of The Bachelor's engagement before the tabloids published the Bachelor breakup instead.
I am deeply sorry.
But few couples have been dragged through the gossip grinder more than Tiger Woods and his wife Elin.
It's going to be one of the biggest payouts ever.
No one really knows the details of their separation, but there has been talk of a divorce settlement reaching more than $700 million. Tiger certainly has made a lot through golf and endorsement deals, so chances are he'll have to pay a lot too. It's a potential marital price tag a number of celebrities have avoided, choosing to be together without being legally locked together. Case in point, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt.
A lot of celebrity couples actually keep their finances separate, and if something happens, you just walk away with your stuff and you don't have to worry about it.
The untying of high-profile knots seems almost at epidemic levels this summer. Sandra Bullock and her husband, Jesse James, were officially divorced this week, making headlines that surprised few but saddened many. Kelsey Grammer announced the split with his wife via Twitter, saying simply, "Things fell apart between us. That is all." Al and Tipper Gore's split came as a shocker, as did the National Enquirer headline alleging sexual misconduct with a masseuse. The divorce, Mr. Gore acknowledged. The assault, he denied. Even old celebrity splits were back in the news. Michael Douglas divorced his then-wife Deandra back in 2000. But now she reportedly wants to revisit the settlement, thanks to his revisiting his potentially lucrative role as Gordon Gekko.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Happily Ever After often eludes those in the spotlight. Fairy tale romances that last are more valuable than even the highest price tag divorce. For today, Lee Cowan, NBC News, Los Angeles.
All right, for more insight, we are joined by NBC News legal analyst Susan Filan. Susan, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's talk about first Tiger and Elin. That seems to be all anyone's talking about, and what this number could be. It could be as low as $100 million, and that's funny that I'm even saying that, as low as $100 million, or as high as $750 million. How does it get to a figure like that? How do you determine? That's a huge spread.
Yeah, it's a percentage of the marital estate. And when you talk about a marital estate, you're talking about property and income stream, alimony, and child support.
All right, and these are some of the people who have crossed over the $100 million mark. It's a small club, but it certainly happened in all of these specific celebrity divorces. And are we talking about future earnings, or is it the assets at the time? How do they go about to figure this out?
You're talking about present assets, and you are also talking about future earnings. You're talking about a percentage of future earnings. I mean, you're talking about somebody like Tiger Woods.
What about hush money? Is that involved in there too, so that she literally cannot speak about their divorce or any of the details surrounding their breakup?
That is something that Tiger Woods wanted, and it's something that he negotiated for, and it's something that they did settle. But it's interesting because if that divorce went to trial, it's not something that a judge would have ordered. She could not be ordered not to speak about his affairs or their divorce. But if that's something that Tiger wanted, he did pay a premium for that to be part of their settlement. But when you talk about a percentage of his future earnings, and you talk about his golf earnings, if he is then going to profit, let's say, from golf games and is not playing well, could she then make a claim to a court that he's not playing well to deprive her of a percentage of his future earnings? Isn't that going to give a new meaning to the word instant replay?
Right, and the scandal itself, he lost endorsements, so some of his earning, he reportedly was making up to $1 billion, or he was worth $1 billion. That's gone down because of the scandal. He's lost a lot of endorsements, a lot of money.
Right, but you couldn't say that he's done that on purpose, but she could potentially make a claim that he's losing golf games on purpose so that he doesn't have to pay her a percentage of those earnings.
All right, let's move on to Sandra Bullock and Jesse James. Another celebrity divorce, been making headlines, obviously. It was finalized this week. And again, because of the scandal with Jesse's affairs, did Sandra Bullock have all the leverage? Was Jesse in a position to ask for anything?
No, nobody in a divorce has all the leverage, because when somebody's getting divorced, it's because somebody did something wrong, ostensibly. I mean, it didn't work out. And usually when things don't work out, somebody's done something wrong. Judges don't want to hear about fault. Judges want to hear about how are we going to divide this somehow. And so she didn't have all the leverage. Nobody ever has all the leverage. And when you sit down to negotiate, you got to compromise. So, no, she didn't have all the leverage. Sure, she had some.
Right. All right. Well, they're not easy things to go through. We appreciate you breaking down some of what we know. And we've all been watching on the tabloids, unfortunately, for those folks going through that very public divorce. Susan Fineland, thanks so much for joining us.
You bet.